Hey, this is Matt once again. This is another review, this time for Adam. Anti-Cena Guy was his username. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1990 version of Lord of the Flies. I don't know why I was going to say 1995, but 1990. Now, I know there was a film back to the day, I want to say in the 60s, and of course it's based on a book. Now, from what I understand, people when they read the book, they hated this movie. They said it did not get the themes of this movie right, that there were things they changed. Uh, like in the book, the more British kids, they were not military kids. The kids seemed a lot more nice, complacent, so that when they change into this more barbaric nature, it seems much more jarring in this one. Because the gist of it is these military kids, right from the beginning, they're in the water because their plane crashed. They go onto this island. There's Ralph, who kind of makes himself the leader. There's Jack, who's the rebellious guy. There's a kid with glasses who some of the kids make fun of him and call him Piggy. And they're pretty much trying to figure out how to survive. Some want to try to sit no. Others say we'll never get help, so we gotta learn how to hunt. So some try to be more civilized, and some go back and try to be a barbaric, savage in nature. But it's all among these kids doing it. So it should be more shocking. And Balthazar Getty, which I know he's been a lot. He was in Young Guns 2. He was in a few other films. He's the kid in this. Ralph, who's more of the hanging on to civilization and morals. But yeah, apparently in the book, there's no adult pilot, which survives here for a little bit just to really get affected. And I think he's the one who dies later in the cave, which kids think is the monster. I think these are more like military kids. They were from military school. And I don't know, the movie itself, I think I saw this once back to the day. And like I know of the concept, I knew of it for the longest time. When I hear the term Lord of the Flies, I know the plot of the story and the idea of the story. I can't say I really gave a whole hoot of a shit about the movie. I don't know, it just never engaged me. I don't know, it's because I thought it lacked some emotional depth. Also, a lot of the kids seemed like they did to begin with, so the change didn't seem that strange. Also, I mean, I remember the same year seeing RoboCop 2, and there's a little kid who works with drug dealers shooting people, shooting RoboCop in the face, and before that you had Children of the Corn, where a bunch of children kills a whole town of people, and that was a time where, to this day, kids are game bangers coming out and shooting with Uzis. So when you look at this, maybe a material that was shocking back to the day seems kind of a moot point nowadays, or let alone back in 1990. Now, the acting by Balthazar Getty, not too shabby. I would say him, Jack, was kind of friendly at the beginning, then of course they split fairly quickly, it seems. And the kid who's nicknamed Piggy, I would say those three didn't do bad. The other kids are kind of in one ear out the other. Really, same with the direction. Harry Hook, just something about the direction didn't really delve much deep into suspenseful horror territory, or I think they tried to take even more advantage of the location and the jungle setting they were in. You don't really know a lot about the history of these kids, other than maybe Jack stole a car. And it kind of just, things happen. They find a shell. They decide whoever holds the shell is going to talk. They're supposed to have this fire in case if help arrives, they can use it and try to signal for smoke. With smoke to get the attention. But then some are out hunting and they let the fire go out and a helicopter passes by. So Ralph is pissed off, but Jack goes, I'm sick of your shit. We're hunters. But it seemed like that happened really quick. Because like they're on the island and I don't know if they were on the island for a day, 2 days, 5 days. But it just seemed like they got crazy. Like, yeah, some of them seemed like a dick to begin with. And then they seemed like they got crazy rather quick. Instead of this methodical journey. So the kids. Let's say maybe we saw a bit of a backstory of in school they were strict, and when they try to be free they were punished, and they were told you can't do this, especially if you don't go with the military kid format. Maybe they show, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of them in military school, and they have to be strict and they can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do this. So then this taste of freedom and this taste of no rules is so enticing that it becomes addicting, and that's why one of them is like, oh, we're never going to leave, and maybe some of them go, that's fine, we don't leave, you want to go back to there and this that, like more of that maybe dialogue, maybe more of that friction. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of character work or emotional depth. I think it's just kind of things happen. The fire goes out, Ralph is pissed, there's a chopper went by. Again, we're hunters, we don't hunt these boars. We capture some, you can eat with us. You know what, fuck that, you ate too much, you're leaving. At one point, one of the kids who was in Ralph's camp, I believe, goes in the cave, gets one of these glow sticks, runs off to tell what's going on. These kids who are dancing in the fire, they look at the kid with the glow stick and they think he's a monster and they stab him. I guess they never realized they stabbed one of their own. Like to this day they don't realize it. Which I don't understand. I mean, when you get up close they would realize it was one of their own. And at least maybe some of them going, what the hell did we do? Doesn't matter, that's how it goes. Like some kind of argument, some kind of dissension, some kind of verbal war words of, or even like Ralph calling out those guys. I mean, all we did is Ralph and Piggy crying, and Ralph going, it's our fault, we didn't do anything. You didn't do anything, it was an accident. But we never see the other kids' reaction to them realizing it was one of their own, or some talking like, was that the right thing to do, or what the hell, or Ralph going, you kill that guy, it's your fault, and maybe some going to the one side and some going to the other side, so it causes more of this friction and more of this war between civilization and savagery, and more of this butting of heads. Instead of everybody just goes to him, to Jack. And if it was a sense of starvation, I don't know, you didn't even get a sense of these kids really starving that much to really showcase why they cave into going with Jack. I don't know if Harry Hook was the right guy for the job. I don't know. Again, people say this is not like the source material, so I don't know if a lot of that is in more of the book compared to how it is in the movie. I mean, you get the line where the Jack says, the monster can come back anytime, in any shape. But I thought we killed the monster, in any time, in any shape. And I'm like, huh? Why is Jack thinking this way? Just because he's crazy. Well, how did he really go crazy? But just because. Also leads to them taking the overweight kid's glasses because they needed to light the fire. Ralph says, "You know what? You should have asked. I don't have to ask." They try to fight, and then for some reason, two kids push a fucking boulder and it lands on. This is the scene I do remember seeing way back to the day, where it lands on the kid. He falls and his face is all bloodied up. I remember there. Ooh, okay, a bit jarring. But again, if it was one of those things where like he kept, I know they didn't take him seriously. Well, they didn't take him seriously. They didn't like the kid. That's why they kept calling him Piggy. But it still felt like a leap that they were pushed this boulder. But if it was one of those where we just wanted to steer him, but now that's done, then they get into their killer instinct, or what they were once would be sorry for a mistake. Now they go, well, it was an accident, but we'll move on, and they move on quicker, they move on easier because of where they're at. Just pretty much just Ralph then runs, and he's running through the jungle, and he runs for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, lands on the beach, he looks up, and there's a military guy. Because his fire had started, and someone had seen it, and they're there. And the other kids come out, and they're shot. Balthazar dead, he cries. And the Marine guy's just standing there with a, "What are you doing now, son?" With a thumb up his ass and a grin on his face. I'm like, can you help the kid out? Can you comfort him? Hey, what's up? What happened? And maybe the kid hugs him. What happened? And he's looking at what the hell's going on here? Like some kind of something. I don't know why all the military guys would just be standing there when it's clearly a bunch of kids with a bunch of fucking spears. This kid's crying. If you're all in the military, you could tell, these kids have fucking spears with real sharp implements, and I don't know. I know I wouldn't just be fucking standing there. I'd be like trying to help the kid out. And then the movie's over. And it was supposed to be this big punch, but it didn't have it for me. I don't know, I wasn't big on the film. This wasn't big on the movie. Just, the acting by the three lead kids weren't bad. But it just seemed like stuff just happened, and then stuff were, and then stuff was, and then stuff am. It is, and it was, and it were. And I didn't really feel like a big journey or see really the de-evolution. It just kind of, then it's here. Okay. I guess it is. Like maybe, it's like they work together for what feels like 5 minutes, and then, oh fuck, we're not going to get out of here, and then, blah blah blah. I don't know. Whether it be more methodical, or more of a journey, or more of a development to really showcase his breakdown. Well, I know people want to laugh at this, but let's see, do I have it around here? Yeah. This film did that better. And people don't get mad at me. Sorry, my nose itching. Where these three go out in the woods and they're friendly with each other and they're friendly around the campfire, but you see the slow breakdown of communication, breakdown of character to the point that they're yelling and screaming at each other and cursing each other out, but they're trying to hold on to the last nerve. I saw more of that methodical journey in this than I did in this. At least that's my take on it. Anyway, with that said, I don't know. Guess I would guess that the book was better. with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.